14-year-old boy and an 18-year-old male driver have been charged with murder in the shooting of a 32-year-old mother who was driving home after having dinner with friends in Denver, Colorado last month. The incident occurred at around 10:45 p.m. on the 20th of February 2021 while Pamela Cabriales was sitting in traffic in her 2008 Land Rover SUV. The car was idle on West Colfax Avenue near Interstate 25 and was returning home from eating out with friends. In a seemingly unprovoked random attack, a witness saw an underage suspect exit a dark-coloured four-door Honda, walk up to the passenger side of the victim's vehicle with a gun. He then started firing shots into it, then returned back to the Honda before driving away. At least one of the bullets struck Pamela in the head, and she was rushed to the Denver Medical Center, but succumbed to her injuries several days later. Police officers later found Cabriales' SUV in the right lane with 8 bullet holes in the windshield and 2 shell casings on the ground. Just after midnight, Denver police officer Katie Phillips found the Honda going north on Federal Boulevard near Exposition Avenue. She recognized the car after investigating a shooting where 3 shots were fired into an occupied McDonald's restaurant drive-thru. It was located along West Alameda Avenue, which she had seen the previous evening from surveillance footage. Phillips pursued the suspect's vehicle until it crashed into a wooden pole on Tejon Street, knocking a fire hydrant down. The car also went through a chain-link fence. 3 suspects then fled on foot. The authorities recovered 2 AR-15 rifles in plain sight from the Honda the suspects were driving. SWAT teams and K9 units searched the area and found 18-year-old Neshan Johnson, the driver of the vehicle, hiding in a nearby shed. More than a dozen rounds of ammunition were found in that shed, and he was arrested. Another suspect, believed to be the shooter, is a 14-year-old boy who cannot be named because he's a minor, was also taken into custody. Authorities said no determination has been made regarding the possible charges against the third individual arrested. The 14-year-old and Johnson are both facing 2 counts of first-degree murder, along with other charges. Prosecutors have filed a motion requesting the minor to be tried in an adult court. Law enforcement officials have arrested a man after they found a 2-year-old boy unresponsive in a closet that later died. At 6:30 p.m. on Friday the 26th of February 2021, deputies were called for a welfare check at an apartment located at 700 block of J Street in Fairbury, Nebraska. When the police arrived at the premises, a woman answered the door. They tried to talk to her alone, but an 18-year-old man named Jake Gonzalez followed and stood closely behind her. After the authorities requested to speak to the woman alone, the man had asked if he could call his mother. At that point, the woman sought help, bursting into tears, asking the deputies to call an ambulance for her son. That's when Gonzalez tried fleeing from the apartment, and several officers gave chase. It was at this point that one of the deputies followed the woman into the bedroom, where there were 2 mattresses on the floor and a closet with the doors closed. To the officer's horror, he discovered a toddler inside the closet, face down and barely responsive. He was only wearing a diaper, and he had severe injuries and bruising on his arms, back, legs and head. When the boy was turned over to lay face up, the officer noticed 2 black eyes, consistent with a skull fracture, bruising to the lips, side of the head, chest and abdomen. The child was carried downstairs and rushed to the Omaha hospital, but later died. Gonzalez had been out on bond after being charged with assault and weapons violations last year. In that case, he was accused of shooting a 31-year-old man in Fairbury. Gonzalez was arrested on suspicion of second-degree murder, assaulting the child, along with other indictable offences. The man has been detained without bond at the Jefferson County Jail and is yet to be officially charged.